Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Golden Sun. In the last part we got here to Lamakan Desert and now we're going to finish this place off. Although I mistakenly called this second area here the final area in the last part as well. Now there are some things we can get in this area, but first off we have our first new enemy for the part. Fighter Bees. 116 HP, weak to wind, strong against earth. Can drop an elixir, which as I mentioned heals certain status ailments, can search for allies, and has a numbing sting ability which I think inflicts stun every now and then. I'm not entirely sure about that though. Nothing too bad, though. And here we got the Jupiter Djinn of Smog, which you can only get by using Reveal. It lowers a foe's accuracy, essentially. Also, class ups Ivan, so that's pretty good. Got an Oasis right here. Now, there is one item I don't think I get in here, and I think it's just like an elixir or something, but I forget what it is. I know I don't get one item, though. Gotta love the random dinosaur skeletons, by the way. And here we got a Lucky Pepper, which raises luck. As we've said before, I recommend giving it to the same person you gave the first one to, which in this case for me, that would be Ivan. However, I believe... Yeah, I go with Ivan this time. I was thinking about giving it to, Isaac, but his future level ups will give him more than enough luck. And here we got Sandfalls. They work pretty much like waterfalls. They push you forward, however you also get your temperature raised when you're on them. It's not at an increased rate or anything, but it's still annoying. And use Reveal here to find... Ow. To find a new cave, and I took some damage there. That's what happens. You can only take like 2 or 3 of those before you're like critically low. So watch out. And now here, what I'm about to do is entirely optional. You can come down here on the sand. There's an oasis here in this bottom right circle. And on the top one's the final item for this area that really matters. Mint, which raises max PP, I think? No, boosts agility. I recommend giving that to Garrett overall. Now, in the circle on the far left, or on the middle there, you can see there's an antlion. In between parts, I'm going to be using that to grind everyone up to level 20, because when you find an antlion, it's immediately there after the fight anyway. So you can just refight it over and over again to get some good coins and experience. Which I do. And coming up here is the boss. Whoa, hello there. Now I recommend, before the fight starts, I recommend setting all of Ivan and Mia's Djinn to standby. Because the boss here is Manticore, who's weak against... Well, first off, those Djinn will do a lot more damage, though I recommend you summon them with their respective people, because the higher affinities they have those elements. Anyway, the Manticore here has 1700 HP, weak to water, strong against fire. Has an attack times 2 ability, which is pretty much that it gets attacked twice per turn, I believe. Can curse, delude, impair you. Impair, I think, just lowers defense. Has a Mad Blast attack, and Nova, which is that little fire attack that someone else had earlier. And Poison Tail, so he can poison you, so make sure you keep yourself cured of poison if he uses it. Overall strategy is to just spam the best attacks you can. Ragnarok is still very effective against this guy. Garrett, he'll pretty much be only attacking. And obviously the best attacks are those summons we used at the beginning of the fight. Spirit of Death. I forget what that does. I forget if that's a death sentence or if it just means you take more damage. But other than that, really just cure when you need to, and yeah. So, how's it life? Mine's good. Mewtwo came out yesterday for Smash 4, and he's pretty good. And I finally beat Project Cross Zone after I got that game like a month after release. Why? I get distracted easily when it comes to games. Kind of disappointing ending, if you ask me. Well, the final boss was really, really beefy. My amiibo hunting's going pretty well, because I am going for some amiibos. I've managed to get pretty much all the ones I want, aside from maybe 3. No, 4. Because I still need to get Ganon and Sheik to complete my Zelda collection. And I need to get Ike and Pac-Man, because Ike was my Brawl main, and Pac-Man just so I can have all the 4 mascots. Because I do have Mega Man, and he's glorious. How you doing there, buddy? I'm talking to a piece of plastic, while talking into another piece of plastic. Anyway, yeah, the Manticore, not really a hard fight. He does a good amount of damage, but as long as you keep yourself high on HP, you should do pretty well. And holy, that's a lot of coins. And we get a Psy Crystal for beating him, so that's pretty good. I gave that to me in between parts. Well, not really in between parts, I just mean later in this part. Either way. Now, we can go over here to this island, because over here is something rather rare. If it would show up. There we go. We got a Venus Djinn. This Venus Djinn is known as Vine. 421 HP, weak to wind, strong against earth, blah 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 blah. Has a general earth synergy attacks, Briar, Clay Spire, Gaia, Mad Growth, Quake Sphere. It can also escape as usual. And I believe it's also the last Venus Djinn we fight. Yeah, it should be. So that's a thing. Thankfully, the Djinn that you fight in battles don't have that much HP to begin with, so yeah. Though I forget if in the third game, if they gave the Djinn you fight their individual appearances. If you did fight any in that game, I forget. It's been forever since I last played Dark Dawn. Anyway, Vine is actually a pretty decent Djinn. Not the best, but he has a use. He tangles the foes to lower their agility, which means you can get your turns a lot more quickly. And if you have people who are really slow, like Garrett, that's pretty damn good. And now we can head west, and don't head north here. I always make that mistake whenever I play the game. Head west, and you enter the town of Kalay. Kalay doesn't have much going on in it at the moment, but there is quite a few stuff we can, quite a few good things we can find. We have a vial and a nut, so that's pretty good healing items right off the bat. I believe there's a sleep bomb I don't go for somewhere in the village, along with an elixir. Because honestly, I never find status-inducing or healing items that useful in this game. Because most status ailments are kind of like Final Fantasy VII, in that they end when the battle ends. Or they just have a period where they heal themselves anyway. And this house, if you check this barrel right here, you get some coins. Not many, but it's a thing. I just stole the life savings. And up here we have the inn, which I recommend you use. And it's also, after I use the inn, that I actually go around and buy new equipment. Which cost me most of my savings. As we'll see in about 5, 6, 7 seconds? Actually, I'm surprisingly close on that. Anyway, as for what I did, as you can see when I go into my items here, I have only 2,000 coins. But you can pretty much just tell what I bought using the artifacts and armor weapon shops just based off their sprite. Pretty good defense, pretty good new weapons too. I had to go say goodbye to the Witch's Wand, but oh well. And apparently this is Hammond's place. Yeah, I remember him from back in part 5 or so. Leave this to me. It is I. Please permit me to see Lady Lyanna. I can't speak today. Don't you recognize me? It's Ivan, the servant of Lord Hammond. Apparently, because he's so tan, they didn't recognize him. Apparently, he didn't get much sun beforehand. Have I really changed that much? Well, you've gotten a lot more brave, so I'd say so. Really? I'm surprised. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. Apparently, they thought the thieves had him as well, and I'm wondering if Hammond will be freed soon. Freed? Lord Hammond is a prisoner? And no, sir, we will not leave. We're as involved in this as he is, considering the fact we saw him leave for Loompa. My companions and I have overcome many hardships together. And understandably, they're asking why he's not with Hammett, but since he remained involved, they looked for a stolen rod. Yeah, the shaman's rod, but I was able to recover it. Ow. Sorry if you heard that, I just bumped my mic. Ow. Isaac, you saw Lord Hammett heading north, didn't you? That must have been when Lord Hammett was heading towards Loompa. Lady Liana will surely be glad to hear your tale. I cannot speak today. Please come with me and tell her your stay. Ah. And actually, I do like how they do the explanation sequences in this game. I think I mentioned it back in like part 3 when we had the explanation sequences with the people in Vault. But it reminds me very much so of Super Mario RPG with the way Mario explains things in that game. And this lady has really red hair. Apparently they sent ransom money, but we don't know what's been happening in Loompa these days. And as they mentioned earlier, Loompa passes it to his son Dampa, then his son to Dampa. When did you send the ransom money? Apparently, they sent it really early on because it was right after the Mount-Aleph eruption. It's been quite a while since the eruption. Yeah, about 14 or 15 days. Is it possible that they have no intention of letting Lord Hammett go? Yep. You think so too, Isaac? I agree with Ivan. If they're going to release him, they would have done it by now. I'm sorry, Lady Liana, but I think Ivan might be right. And understandably, she's wondering what she should do. No, I really don't like long dialogue sequences where it's not characters that I usually give voices because, yeah, because I don't have much to say. And she's gonna think over the idea to send the soldiers in, but it's probably not gonna happen. And it doesn't. Can't we do something to help? I think so. Oh, well, it's about time you started agreeing with me, Isaac. Garrett, I have agreed with you multiple times throughout the entire game. Don't think so? Go back and check. I think. Garrett thinks that we can help. Oh, too dangerous. Come on, we've done worse. Yeah, we have our own quests to pursue, but we can spare time for this. We got time for that. Then what'll happen to Lord Hammett? Apparently, because he's a good hostage, they're not going to kill him, so they're probably just going to milk them for as much money as possible. Lady Liana, I cannot leave like this. Sounds like Hammett knows about our mission, doesn't it? Yeah, it kinda does. Apparently, Hammett swore an oath to a Jupiter adept. Because apparently, it has something to do with Vale. Oh, Vale and Vault. I said Vault earlier, didn't I? Huh. What prophecy? Apparently, Hammett was told a prophecy that 3 years after the storm, I'm just going to have to depart with warriors from Vale. I've heard nothing of any such prophecy. Apparently happened even before Hammett founded this town. Apparently he risked his life on a journey to find some business, and some adepts appeared and saved his life. He had lost consciousness, and when he woke up he was in a village that apparently Ivan is from. And that adept gave him the Shaman's Rod and some gold doubloons, and I think Ivan's in that too. I'm Mia, Lady Liana. And he received some business advice. Hammett, the greatest merchant ever known? Apparently, Hammett's only successful because of adepts. And he was advised to buy stuff in Jian and sell it elsewhere. Did he have anything to promise in return? Something we need in our journey. Apparently that adept wanted us to keep the Shaman's Rod in check. So, yeah. I had no idea, so that must be why he left the rod in my care. But then... No, Ivan, you mustn't blame yourself. It was my carelessness that caused the rod to be stolen, and ultimately that's why Lord Hammett's being held in Loompa. And Ivan's blaming himself, blah blah blah, general stuff. We've seen these kind of plot lines before. And she's sorry she can't tell us anymore, but no, don't apologize. The shaman's rod will help us find that thing we need for our quest, right? And yeah, we'll take a look around. If Isaac says we will, then there's nothing to worry about. You know, I'm a silent protagonist. And this cutscene is finally over. I really hate long cutscenes like that, where I voice the characters. That's why I'm not going to be doing that much in the Final Fantasy games, even though I know I haven't mentioned that before. I have some plans for something I might do with either 7 or 4, but yeah. Anyway, if you check this barrel right here, we got a nut. God, I love those. I used to think they were really rare because I had really crap luck with getting them as drops, but now I have like 13. But before we leave Kalay, I want to do one last thing, which don't head inside this house for. You want to jump to the right and move this little statue thingy-majig. And in here in the Kalay Tunnel, we'll be in this dungeon later on for better reasons. I'm only in here now because, as you'll see on screen right about now, there's a djinn in here, a Mars djinn, which I'd like to have. You can wait until later to get this, but I recommend doing it now so you don't forget it. And as for what this Mars djinn is, this is, if his really long animation of entering our party would end, Scorch. Scorch is pretty good. He stuns blows with a blast attack. He's pretty much another attack djinn, but you get some pretty good synergies and a class up for that, so that's pretty damn worth it. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 17, we'll be continuing on towards some familiar territory. But, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing some level grinding, get everyone up to level 20 in between parts, so I'll see you guys then.